Hello, grounded Taurus. This reading meets you at a meaningful point in your journey, where familiar foundations may be asking for quiet renewal instead of carrying more weight. You may notice a growing sense of confidence mixed with curiosity, as though something within you is encouraging a different way of moving forward. Rather than chasing dramatic change, this moment invites you to recognize how steady growth often begins with a subtle shift in perspective. Pay close attention to the thoughts, coincidences, and quiet instincts that continue returning to your awareness. They do not promise a predetermined outcome, but they may reveal where your deepest values are asking for greater honesty. If uncertainty appears, try not to see it as a sign that you are on the wrong path. Sometimes it simply marks the place where an older definition of security is beginning to make room for something that fits the person you are becoming. Notice what your relationships are reflecting back to you, whether they are personal, romantic, or professional. Some connections may be asking for greater consistency, clearer communication, or a willingness to be more open than usual. Others may naturally reach a point where holding on out of habit no longer supports either person. Releasing what has quietly run its course is not a loss of stability. It can be the first step toward creating a stronger foundation. If you've been considering a new direction, a creative pursuit, or a practical opportunity, resist the urge to wait until every detail feels perfectly certain. Progress often reveals itself after you begin moving, not before. Trust your ability to learn along the way, allowing each thoughtful decision to strengthen your confidence instead of demanding immediate perfection. Be especially aware of the inner voice that questions your worth whenever change begins to unfold. Self-criticism, hesitation, or the desire to cling to familiar routines may simply be signals pointing toward old beliefs that deserve a closer look. Instead of pushing those feelings aside, meet them with patience and curiosity. Like tending a well-loved garden, clearing what no longer nourishes the soil creates room for healthier growth to take root. Give yourself regular moments to reconnect with whatever helps you feel centered, whether that comes through quiet reflection, journaling, prayer, meditation, or simply spending time in nature. These practices are not about finding all the answers at once. They help you remember that your strongest guidance often grows from within. As your perspective settles, your next steps may begin to feel less forced and more naturally aligned with what truly matters to you. Remember that every reading speaks through symbolism rather than certainty, so allow what resonates to become something worth reflecting on, and let the rest pass without pressure. Your experiences are uniquely your own, and your intuition remains your most reliable guide. As we continue, we'll explore how these themes may influence your relationships, your sense of value, your well-being, and the foundations you are continuing to build. One symbolic element that reflects the atmosphere of this reading is the color moss green, representing grounded renewal, balance, and steady growth. Rather than treating it as a sign of luck, think of it as a quiet reminder of the qualities you are cultivating within yourself. Whenever you notice opportunities to choose what feels rooted, calm, and authentic, let that choice reinforce the life you are intentionally creating. There are moments when postponing a decision quietly becomes a decision itself. If something important deserves your attention, trust yourself enough to address it before hesitation turns into another habit. The smallest responsibilities often become the strongest supports for lasting progress, and every consistent action strengthens the life you are patiently building. Imagine a rope stretched between what feels familiar and what is ready to evolve. One side is pulled by old routines, lingering doubts, and the comfort of staying exactly where you are, while the other is guided by the quiet confidence that comes from honoring your true values. Each intentional choice weakens the pull of fear and strengthens the foundation beneath your feet, allowing you to move forward with greater clarity, steadiness, and trust in yourself. A quiet sense of steadiness begins to settle within you, Taurus, much like the feeling of standing on solid ground after wandering uncertain paths. Something you have been nurturing with patience and persistence is beginning to reveal its true potential, even if the outcome has not fully taken shape yet. You may not see every result at once, but you can sense that the effort you have invested is no longer disappearing into the background. Small signs of progress begin to appear, reminding you that meaningful growth often announces itself through quiet consistency rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Rather than signaling sudden change, the symbolism here suggests that the foundations you've been building are becoming strong enough to support a meaningful new direction. This is less about leaving your life behind and more about allowing it to evolve into something that reflects who you have become, honoring both the lessons you've learned and the values you've chosen to carry forward. Like fertile soil that has been patiently cared for through changing seasons, your efforts are becoming capable of sustaining far more than they once could. As familiar patterns come into focus, you may notice that some commitments, habits, or expectations no longer contribute to the life you want to create. What once provided comfort may now feel heavier than it used to, not because it has lost all value, but because you have outgrown the version of yourself that once depended on it. This realization does not ask you to reject your past. It simply invites you to recognize that stability is healthiest when it has room to evolve alongside you. Letting them rest does not diminish what they once meant. It simply creates room for healthier structures to emerge. Progress often feels most natural when it is built one thoughtful step at a time, and your steady approach is one of your greatest strengths. Trust that each practical decision adds another stone to the path you are laying for yourself, gradually creating a future that feels stable, not because it never changes, but because it is built with intention. The life you are shaping becomes stronger every time your choices reflect who you are now instead of who you once needed to be. The world appears as a symbol of completion, reminding you that every season of effort eventually shapes the ground beneath your feet. For Taurus, whose strength often comes from consistency and devotion, this card encourages you to recognize when a chapter has fulfilled its purpose. There is wisdom in acknowledging completion instead of endlessly trying to perfect what is already ready to be released. Finishing something well requires just as much awareness as beginning it with enthusiasm. A long-term project, personal ambition, or financial objective may finally reach a point where you can appreciate how far you have come. Instead of rushing toward the next destination, allow yourself to acknowledge the stability your persistence has already created. Gratitude for your own progress becomes fertile ground for whatever you choose to cultivate next, giving you confidence that every completed chapter has quietly prepared you for the next stage of growth. The Ace of Pentacles speaks of opportunity expressed through tangible value rather than dramatic fortune. It may reflect a chance to strengthen your financial foundation, develop a practical skill, or recognize that your dedication is beginning to produce visible results. Sometimes the greatest opportunity is not a completely new path, but a deeper appreciation of the resources, talents, and relationships you have already been developing. You may also discover that what once seemed ordinary has quietly become one of your greatest assets simply because you stayed committed to it. Whether that appears through your work, a business, or a carefully considered investment, the deeper message is about understanding the relationship between patience and lasting abundance. The rewards you build intentionally often become the ones that endure because they are supported by preparation rather than chance. Lasting prosperity is rarely created in a single moment. It grows through repeated decisions that honor both your values and your long-term vision. Strength reminds you that resilience is not measured by how loudly you confront obstacles, but by how calmly you remain rooted when circumstances shift around you. Taurus sometimes carries responsibilities quietly, believing that endurance simply comes with the role you've accepted. Yet true strength also includes knowing when to adjust your approach, instead of carrying every burden alone. Flexibility is not a betrayal of your dependable nature. It is often what allows that dependability to endure. This card invites you to see that your ability to remain steady is not something to overlook. Healthy boundaries and quiet confidence often accomplish more than constant struggle, allowing others to recognize the value of your presence without requiring you to prove it. The confidence that grows from self-respect is often far more lasting than confidence built on recognition alone, because it remains steady regardless of changing circumstances. The moon introduces a more reflective layer, encouraging you to question assumptions before accepting them as truth. Uncertainty does not always signal danger. Sometimes it reveals where fear has been filling in the spaces that clarity has not yet reached. You may sense subtle changes within a relationship or notice unspoken emotions beneath someone's words. There may also be moments when your own expectations deserve the same gentle examination you naturally offer to others. Instead of rushing to explain every unanswered question, allow yourself to become comfortable with observing before deciding. Rather than reacting too quickly, allow your intuition and your observations to work together, helping you distinguish genuine insight from temporary doubt. The more patiently you observe, the easier it becomes to separate instinct from imagination, revealing truths that often emerge only after your mind has become quiet enough to receive them. The Lovers highlights the importance of choosing from a place of self-respect instead of familiarity alone. Whether the focus is romance, friendship, or an important personal decision, this card asks whether your choices reflect the person you are becoming rather than the comfort of what has always been. This is not simply about choosing between people or paths, but about deciding which values deserve to guide your future. Every meaningful choice gradually shapes your identity, reinforcing the qualities you wish to cultivate in yourself. Meaningful relationships grow through honesty, consistency, and mutual trust, not simply through shared history. By honoring your own values, you naturally create space for more authentic connections, where appreciation flows in both directions and each person is free to grow without sacrificing who they truly are. Relationships built on this kind of mutual respect often become a source of lasting stability rather than emotional uncertainty. Your body may also be asking for greater attention, especially if routine has gradually replaced movement or rest has become inconsistent. Physical well-being often reflects the same balance you are trying to create emotionally, making it an important part of your overall foundation. Even small adjustments to your daily rhythm can gradually restore energy that has been quietly depleted over time. Consider this an invitation to reconnect with physical well-being through simple, sustainable habits rather than dramatic changes. Gentle exercise, regular walks, stretching, or mindful moments outdoors can help restore a sense of balance between body and mind. Caring for yourself consistently is another way of strengthening the foundation that supports every other part of your life, reminding you that lasting growth is sustained through everyday choices. The way you care for your body becomes another expression of the respect and patience you are learning to offer yourself. Professionally, this symbolism reflects steady cultivation rather than overnight success. If you have devoted time and effort to a business, career, or long-term goal, trust that those investments continue shaping results, even when progress feels gradual. There is value in recognizing that meaningful achievements are often built quietly, through persistence that others may not always see. Your consistency creates a level of trust that cannot be manufactured through quick success alone, and that reliability becomes one of your greatest professional strengths. Stay focused on the quality of your work instead of comparing your path with someone else's. Challenges may still arise, but they are more likely to refine your abilities than diminish your confidence, allowing your experience to become one of your greatest assets. Every lesson you gain strengthens your ability to make wiser decisions the next time an opportunity presents itself, reinforcing your confidence through experience instead of assumption. Financially, the cards emphasize thoughtful stewardship instead of sudden gain. You may begin recognizing opportunities that align with your values because your understanding of what truly matters has become clearer. This is a chance to deepen your relationship with abundance by viewing it as something created through awareness, discipline, and gratitude rather than luck alone. As your confidence grows, you may also find it easier to distinguish between what genuinely supports your future and what only offers temporary reassurance. At the same time, remain aware of subtle habits that encourage unnecessary caution or self-doubt. Taurus sometimes mistakes familiarity for security when real stability comes from making conscious choices that reflect your evolving sense of worth. By trusting both your practical judgment and your inner wisdom, you continue building a life supported by lasting confidence rather than temporary certainty, creating a future that feels both secure and genuinely aligned with the person you are continuing to become. In doing so, you discover that true abundance is measured not only by what you accumulate, but by the confidence, freedom, and inner stability that grow alongside everything you choose to build. Continue grounding yourself in what is real rather than what fear tries to imagine. Consistent choices, even the smallest ones, have a way of strengthening the life you are building, often long before dramatic results become visible. Growth is rarely announced with fanfare. More often, it arrives quietly through the habits you repeat and the promises you keep to yourself. This symbolism suggests that your sense of value is becoming more deeply rooted in your own efforts instead of outside validation. As you become more intentional with your resources and your decisions, you create a foundation capable of supporting opportunities that genuinely reflect your priorities rather than temporary expectations. When it comes to matters of the heart, you may notice that something within the relationship feels different than it once did. That does not automatically mean something is wrong. It may simply be an invitation to understand one another from a new perspective. Every meaningful connection evolves, and the way two people communicate must evolve with it. Avoid making important decisions while emotions are still settling. Relationships grow through countless small conversations, shared experiences, moments of honest vulnerability, and the willingness to keep learning who each other is as life continues to change. If a relationship is moving through a difficult season, allow yourself to observe before rushing toward conclusions. Honest reflection often reveals whether discomfort is asking for healthier communication or whether it is showing that certain patterns have simply reached their natural limit. There is wisdom in giving both yourself and another person enough space for clarity to emerge without forcing immediate answers. Either way, clarity develops more easily when it is guided by respect instead of fear. Choosing harmony should never require abandoning your own values, but it also does not demand unnecessary conflict. The strongest relationships are often strengthened not by avoiding challenges, but by meeting them with patience, sincerity, and mutual understanding. If you are single, you may occasionally wonder why the connection you hope for has not appeared in the way you expected. Consider another possibility. Perhaps meaningful people have crossed your path, but they did not match the image you had already formed in your mind. Sometimes genuine compatibility reveals itself slowly through consistency rather than instant excitement. Someone who consistently shows kindness, reliability, or quiet interest may deserve a closer look than first impressions allowed. Stay open without forcing outcomes, trusting that genuine connection grows through authenticity rather than urgency. By becoming clearer about your own values, you naturally become better at recognizing those who truly complement them. Your home and family life may also invite thoughtful attention. Taurus often becomes the steady presence others naturally rely upon, creating stability simply by remaining dependable through changing circumstances. That quiet reliability has a calming influence, even when it goes unnoticed in the moment. Conversations about old misunderstandings or long-held expectations can become opportunities to build healthier patterns instead of repeating familiar ones. The more secure you become within yourself, the easier it is to offer patience, encouragement, and balance to those closest to you. Your steadiness can gently inspire others to approach difficult conversations with greater openness and mutual respect. Emotionally, you may find yourself reflecting more deeply than usual, and that inward focus deserves gentle care rather than criticism. Reflection is most valuable when it leads to understanding instead of endless self-analysis. There is an important difference between listening to yourself and becoming trapped in your own thoughts, and this period encourages the first rather than the second. Give yourself space to slow down whenever responsibilities begin to feel overwhelming. Even a brief pause can restore perspective, helping you respond with intention instead of reacting from exhaustion. Your calm nature is one of your greatest strengths, especially when you choose peace with intention rather than avoiding necessary conversations. At the same time, remember that protecting your own well-being should never come at the cost of losing empathy for those around you. Healthy boundaries become even stronger when they are paired with compassion, allowing you to care for others without losing sight of your own emotional balance. If you are studying or preparing for an important goal, uncertainty does not necessarily mean you have chosen the wrong direction. Learning often includes periods where progress feels difficult to measure. even though meaningful growth is taking place beneath the surface. Like roots developing before new branches appear, much of your progress may remain unseen until the right moment arrives. The effort you invest now is shaping abilities that will continue serving you long after this particular chapter has passed. Trust the process enough to remain consistent, allowing patience to become one of the strengths that carries you forward instead of a burden you are forced to endure. Every challenge you overcome adds another layer of confidence that cannot be taken away, reminding you that lasting knowledge is built through experience as much as achievement. The symbolism of compatibility also highlights people who naturally complement your way of moving through life. Fellow Earth signs may reinforce your desire for stability and practical understanding, while water signs can encourage emotional depth that broadens your perspective without asking you to abandon your grounded nature. Fire signs may inspire fresh motivation, while air signs can introduce new ideas and challenge familiar assumptions in constructive ways. Rather than viewing compatibility as certainty, see it as a reminder that the healthiest relationships are built through shared respect, mutual effort, honest communication, and a willingness to continue growing together. Every meaningful connection has something to teach you, and sometimes the greatest harmony comes not from being identical, but from balancing one another's strengths with curiosity and mutual appreciation. Connections with Leo energy may feel especially supportive within the symbolism of this reading. Whether that influence appears through a friend, family member, colleague, or romantic partner, it can encourage warmth, generosity, and mutual encouragement. Leo energy often reminds Taurus that strength becomes even more meaningful when it is shared with kindness and genuine appreciation. It also encourages you to let your own quiet confidence become more visible, instead of assuming your actions will always speak for themselves. Affection is not limited to romance. It is reflected in the everyday ways people choose to show care, respect, encouragement, and consistent presence. Stay open to those quiet moments of connection, because they often strengthen the relationships that matter most and create memories that endure far beyond the single conversation. The smallest expressions of gratitude or support can leave a lasting impression, reminding everyone involved that meaningful relationships are built through everyday acts of sincerity. As we bring this reading to a close, thank you for sharing this moment of reflection with me. Taking time to pause, listen inward, and consider the symbolism before you is already a meaningful step toward understanding yourself more deeply. In a world that often encourages constant movement, choosing to reflect with intention is an act of self-respect in itself. Every reading becomes most valuable when it encourages thoughtful awareness rather than unquestioned certainty. Your willingness to explore these ideas gives purpose to every message shared here, and I truly appreciate your presence. I hope this space continues to offer moments of calm, perspective, and encouragement whenever you feel called to return, serving as a reminder that personal growth is a lifelong conversation rather than a destination. Remember that astrology is not meant to decide your future for you. Its symbols simply offer another perspective, one that may help you notice patterns, ask better questions, and make choices that feel more aligned with your own values. Think of these symbols as gentle signposts rather than fixed destinations, inviting reflection instead of demanding belief. They become most meaningful when they inspire you to engage more honestly with your own experiences instead of searching for absolute certainty outside yourself. Keep what genuinely resonates with your experience and allow anything that does not to pass without feeling that you must force it to fit. Your intuition remains one of your most trustworthy guides, especially when it is supported by patience, honesty, and practical wisdom. The more you learn to trust both your instincts and your lived experience, the more naturally your decisions begin to reflect your authentic self. If this reading offered you a meaningful insight or a fresh perspective, I would be grateful if you supported it with a like, as it helps these reflections reach others who may also find value in them. If you would like to continue exploring this journey together, you're always welcome to join our community and turn on notifications so you won't miss future readings. Every shared thought, kind word, and quiet moment of support helps this space continue growing with intention and authenticity. Thank you again for being here, for your openness, and for the energy you bring to this space. Your presence helps make this community a place where reflection, curiosity, and personal growth can continue to flourish. Wherever your path leads next, may you continue moving forward with steady confidence, quiet courage, and a deep trust in the foundation you are creating for yourself. Knowing that every thoughtful step you take becomes part of a life built with purpose, resilience, and lasting inner strength.